What is going on, you guys? Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Kyle Sulkar and I'm super excited to have you back. As you guys remember from the last video, I did purchase my first E92 BMW M3 and I am absolutely ecstatic about it. 6-speed manual, carbon roof car, Alpine white. I absolutely adore it. However, it did have a few major issues that I had to address, and that involved first taking it to the body shop, which, if you follow some of my videos, has been a frequent place that I've been going lately because it seems like every car needs some kind of thing. But for this particular case, it's something that there was really no solution to that made perfect sense, and you'll see why in a little bit. But real quick, let's address the elephant in the room, this beautiful 2002 BMW E46 M3 Coupe that is absolutely flawless, original 6-speed car, fully maintained, and has amazing speed cloth seats that are manual, which is really cool. So this is ultimately a real stripper spec E46 aside from the sunroof, which is something that I prefer in a stripper car. It does have the halogen lights as well, and a few other things that kind of, can justify that name for it. I'd have to look. No Harman Kardon, etc., etc., etc. But beautiful, beautiful car. I absolutely adore it. It's similar to a car, if you follow my channel way back in the day, I had 5-ish years ago. Same kind of colors, wheel setup, everything. Super clean, but may have to part with it just to justify keeping the E92 and putting a bunch of money into it like I plan to do. But with that being said, we're gonna head over to the body shop right now, assess what they've done. I've been kind of following up on it for the past week or so, and I'm super antsy and excited because I've also got some parts that are over here, and I'm excited to show you those too because gonna be some really cool mods to a V8 is all I have to say. So let's get going. Well, we're out here on the side for all the Civic boys out here representing. All right, you guys, we have arrived at the body shop. Let's head inside and take a look at how this turned out. Gonna be kind of nuts because I heard that they put 7 coats of clear on it and all this crazy stuff. So let's go check it out. Same color as the last one. All right, so we are back in business. Need gas, of course, as always in this car. First things first, coffee. All right, you guys, we are back at the office and we've got the car here. Of course, looking nice and fresh with the front bumper. You guys remember there was a bunch of Bondo and like weird stuff going on down here, but it's looking great. They were able to kind of mend everything and it looks fantastic. I got new side markers because the old ones kind of looked bad. I don't know why, but they did. So ordered new ones and they look pretty good, I would say. They were from Auto Technic or whatever, so that looks good. Whole front end looks super clean and fresh. Love to see that. And they were able to get all the chips out, so nice and clean there. And then obviously you guys come to the roof, the main vent right here. As you guys can see, still could probably use a little bit of buffing and cleaning, but overall it looks really good. Hard to see in this light, probably should do it out in the sunlight. But as you can see, it's a nice even finish. We've got the black stripe right here, like I told you guys about. Obviously, that's something we had to do. There's no other option really. But if you look, it's nice, even. It looks pretty great. Yeah, so that's the line right there. I might do a little, company banner on top. We'll see what happens with that. Either way, worst case scenario, like I said, can always just treat it like body work and paint the roof white to match the car. But I wanted to enjoy the carbon fiber, and I would say that I think I would made the right choice because it looks pretty good. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll go from there. Next step is going to be what I haven't told you guys is the exhaust and the new LCI taillights. So with that being said, let's jump into that and see what we could do here and wrap this thing up for the week at least. All right, you guys, so if you see here is the new taillight. Obviously, we got new insights as well. This is how the old one looks, and then you got this one with that new style LCI design. These are not OEM, of course. They are aftermarket, but I've had good luck with them on the E46 M3, so I figured this can't be too bad. Seems like a mass-produced item. Fit and finish looks great, so I'm hoping the install also is easy and great. So that being said, let's install these puppies real quick and do a little before and after and see how it looks. 8mm nuts. This should just come out, and that's really simple, almost scary simple. And this should have the connector that matches something in here, which does not look the same. So I will go back to the box and see if we're missing something. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna do a quick little unboxing of this exhaust because I've never bought one before. I've been recommended this a bunch of times. It's the cheap Chinese version of what everybody else does, but it's the Megan Racing. It's like $750 on eBay. I hear it sounds really good and everyone says it's all the car really needs, so that's why I bought it. But either way, not an exhaust aficionado like most of these people on YouTube are, and that's cool. You can keep your expensive exhaust. I don't feel like buying one for this car. I just want to make it sound louder and more like a V8. As you can see, the exhaust is completely stock under here. And looking, you know, this is the current, you know, setup. That clamp right there, right there, looks like what we replaced. And then it looks like there's two of them. So those bolts, some hangers, which would be here, and that would essentially be everything we need to take this exhaust off. I'm not 100% sure if it's worth attempting, but might try it. And then worst case scenario, just bring it down the street to Larry's and have them do it, as well as the alignment that this car needs. So stay tuned, we'll figure that out right now. All right, you guys, so before we change the exhaust, we've got to get obviously an exhaust clip of how it sounds before. Don't know if this one's been modified, like any weird cutout, you know, thing that people do. Sounds kind of throaty and loud, but you know, these cars do sound like that stock, but obviously it's gonna be a drastic difference. So let's do a quick little rev so you guys can see. Car is done.
Better not start the car without me.
Oh shit. Here's the old exhaust right here. Big old muffler. Looks like, oh, it definitely had the cutout. That's why it sounded the way it did. Somebody did the cutouts and then the resonator deleted at some point. But obviously that's not gonna be the same as adding a full on new muffler. But still, is it heavy? I could put this down if it is. Is it? Yeah? All right, I'll help you. Now what we all have been waiting for. I can't let Oliver miss out on this first startup, but let's see how this thing sounds with the new exhaust. Alright, let me get the good shot. First time hearing it. Sounds good so far. Let's take it for a quick rip and see if we got to do an X pipe or not. But either way, sounds good. Let's go. Also did get a 4-wheel alignment, so I'm excited for this thing to be driving straight. Now let's get our first. Let's get this a little bit better. Now let's get our first. Woo! Sounds good. These tips. Definitely an improvement. Looks good. First thoughts. Exhaust is not broken in yet. I haven't really ripped it yet. Haven't heard it from outside the car yet. But it definitely sounds different, throaty, good, and it's the first step in creating a more open V8 exhaust. Now, I don't think metal is just metal, but I've heard good things, like I said previously, about this exhaust. And like I said, if this isn't loud enough, I'm gonna go for the X pipe as well and make this thing stupid loud. This isn't a daily driver for me. I just want it to sound crazy. I don't want it to sound like absurd to where you can't even drive it without having drone. But you know, if we get close to there, I'm okay with it. So gonna go do a couple quick runs with it really quick. Maybe today we'll change out the shift knob as well, and you know, wrap everything up. This car is slowly taking form and what I want it to be, and I'm excited, guys. So stay tuned and let's keep going. Every single time I drive this car, I find new reasons to love it. It's so good at what it does. The naturally aspirated V8 just pulls like crazy. You know, it doesn't have a bunch of torque, but you don't really need it because there's enough power at all times. When you're driving and hugging corners, you don't feel any weirdness or, you know, lackadaisicalness. Like, obviously, especially in a coupe, you have no back seat, so you just feel like you're one with the car. Fresh alignment, so far so good. The manual transmission is fantastic. Everyone complained about them, or at least from what I've seen and asked people, but I personally think this trans is much better than the E46 trans as far as notchiness. Like, it's a nice manual transmission. Like, it's kind of a blend between the E46 and like the F80's manual, which the F80's manual is a little too cushy, and the E46 is, you know, notably notchy. But the car is like still particularly quick. It's not like, you know, get you in crazy amounts of trouble quick, but it could get you in some trouble for sure. But overall, it's such a fun car to drive, especially when you start to hit turns. And obviously that sound is unbeatable. Outside of the car, this muffler sounds crazy, and inside the car, it's not anything too droney, which is good. But like I said, might have to go a little bit higher depending on how things sounds when everything is broken in. But yeah, so far so good. I really love this thing. Sound system's good, looks good, drives good. Starting to knock out pretty much every issue that it had or whatever at the time of purchase, and slowly making this a good E92 M3 that might have to stay in the stable for quite a while. All right, you guys, so we are back at the office with my beloved E92 M3, and I will say I remembered why I love this car so much when I first picked it up. It sounds amazing, drives amazing, looks amazing, and I love just with the front bumper, especially now being completed. There are some bugs we got on it, but it looks super fresh. No chips, no weird Bondo or whatever craziness was on there before. Obviously, we got the black grills, but they were there already. Now we got the exhaust. The carbon roof is finished. As you guys can see, looking up close, it looks super, super, super good. They wet sanded the hell out of this thing, brought it down to bare carbon, and then cleared it like 7 times. So looks super, super sleek, and I think, you know, the black stripe idea that we had turned out really well. There's no line there either, super seamless, so I think it's pretty tasteful. I know it's not OEM, but it's tasteful. And then obviously, last but not least, we got the exhaust. The Megan Racing Supremo, whatever it's called, sounds great, looks cool on the car, and maybe in the next video we'll have it joined by an X-pipe or some kind of cat delete, but don't tell anyone. Maybe not, we'll see. I'm gonna let this one break in, drive it a little bit, put a couple 100 miles on the car, enjoy it, and we'll see what the next mods are gonna be for it. But with that being said, guys, thank you so very much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Like this video if you liked it. Dislike it if you did not. Subscribing would mean the absolute world to me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.